And we're back for another exciting episode of the Creators Collective. I thank you all for joining us this week, especially those in the live chat. We love having you there in the comments. If you have any questions for us in the live chat, we try to answer those. We record most Thursdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I always have to think about that because I'm in Central time. It's 9 a.m. Central time. And we are going to have another fantastically fun week. Unfortunately, this week, Will is not here with us. He is off having fun with his family. And if you watch his personal page, you can see that he's been having a lot of fun recently.
Unfortunately, Will is having fun with his family.
But fortunate for everyone else, we have a special guest. This week, we have Shawn Stone from Stone & Sons Workshop. So, hey, Shawn.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on here. Been good friends for a while, and think you'll be a good fit for this. We'll get into what you do here in a bit, but first let's start off with what's on our bench. Zack, why don't you lead us off?
Everything is on my bench because I have like probably 50 square feet of new tools in my shop.
Nice.
It's been a crazy few weeks. So I think I had mentioned it in the last podcast that we pre-recorded. I spent last weekend, well, Thursday through Sunday in Indianapolis, hanging out with the guys from Coal Iron Works. And so Jimmy DeResta and I were up there hanging out and just checking out these forging presses, getting some hands-on lessons from them and some really amazing blacksmiths from around the country that came in. It was such an incredible experience. What was really cool is that this company, these two guys that started this company, Andy and Nathan, they're like 27, 28 years old. And I can't remember how many. I think their current space is like 3,000 square feet, and they've been there for a year. And they sold 150 forging presses last year. So they're like 3-4 months backed up.
Wow.
And it's just crazy to see these kids that are like, in their mid-20s that went from, none of them are engineers or anything. I mean, formal engineers, but just the fact that they've, through persistence and hard work, created this company that's just manufacturing these unbelievable hydraulic presses. I think they have like a 75 ton or 100 ton press that they're selling to a guy to like rivet like bridges together and ornamental stuff. It's insane.
Huh.
It just shows what hard work and dedication are able to accomplish. So it's just, I probably said it 5 times already, but it was truly unbelievable just to see what they've accomplished. And they have such an incredible future ahead of them, and some of the ideas that they have for new products. So I have no doubt that they're going to be a household name in the next 5 years for anybody who does any sort of industrial work or, metal work. So that was really cool. And it's always great hanging out with Jimmy DeResta. So we had a good time there.
Looking forward to seeing that thing in your shop. That looks like a lot of fun to play with.
Oh my God.
I just be squishing everything.
Yes. So there's a lot that goes into it's one thing to see the videos of, and I've seen the videos 100 times of, these presses mashing, metal, but until you actually see it in person, or even better, get to do it yourself, it is just, it's like one of the few like awe moments in my life where you're just doing it and you're going, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Taking a 3-inch square of steel and smashing it down into a pancake in like 4 seconds is just,
awesome.
You can see it and it's impressive, but when you're there doing it, it's just a whole new story. So yeah. What's that?
I was going to say, I saw the christening video. Is that your actual machine?
Yeah, that's actually, so what's cool is I got to learn how to use the machine on my actual machine. They shipped it out yesterday, so it's actually going to show up on Monday. So a couple of people that you guys I recommend anybody following if you're into smithing or any of that stuff. One of them, if you're into art or abstract stuff, this guy Peter Brasniks, who I've followed for a couple of years, or probably a year or so, on Instagram. I was blown away when they said he was going to come down. It's Fire Forge, Phyre Forge on Instagram. He's like I call him the MC Usher of blacksmithing, because he does these like puzzles. They're like joinery, like wedge tenon joinery, and through joints. And you look at it and if you look at it with the eye of like, how would you go about doing this? There's no way. I mean, you look at it and you're like, how do you, this is not possible. So since from him, he's a super cool guy. And also another guy, David from Cedar Lore Forge, Cedar Lore on Instagram. He makes, I have never met anybody in my life that knows more about swords and sword history, and just talking about it, you can see he gets so excited about what he's doing and the amount of detail that goes into the work that he does. He's like reconstructed swords based off of like broken pieces that they found in, Scandinavia and stuff. And it's just absolutely unbelievable, the stuff that he's putting together. So it was just such a great experience.
So what you're saying is you didn't have any fun.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so so I got to learn how to do all this stuff on my press, and I actually got everybody to sign it. So that's kind of cool. I gave everybody a paint pen, and they signed the side of it, and then we smashed a champagne bottle, which was fun. I'm pretty sure the first like 3 or 4 days that I'm going to have it in the shop, I'm just going to be smashing things that have nothing to do with forging. Like, I'm just going to be looking for objects that I can crush.
That'd make a good video, just a series of crushing things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm sure I won't record. I might put it on my Instagram stories or something, but I'm not gonna like do a video because that'd take time away from me smashing things. But he stuck it, even just a 2x4. It was, you would think that you put a 2x4 in there and it might crack or something. I'm pretty sure it smashed it completely out from the dies. I mean, it's just incredible.
What's the max strength of it? I mean, give me some idea.
Well, it's 25 tons, so that's what, 50,000 pounds.
Man, that's a really serious semi.
Yeah, and you can, depending on the dies, you can concentrate that into, an inch. So, as far as like PSI is concerned, I don't even feel like doing the math, but if I made a die that was, a half an inch,
then it's 2,525 ton PSI.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's simple math. So, but yeah, you cut that into half, and you have, twice that. So, it's probably not productive at all for me to smash stuff, but I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, that was a big thing last week, and got to hang out with Guy Dunlop from Guy's Wood Shop.
Cool.
That was really fun. Also, Mikey the Maker.
I got to meet Mikey at Workbench Con.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's moving. I got to see his shop like just before he started packing it up. So yeah, that's it was a great week. And then I got back in town, and then Monday, so I ordered a 250-pound anvil about 2-3 months ago from Steve Fontanini of Rat Hole Forge. And that showed up on Monday. I'm really, really excited about that. It's going to make a huge difference. And then that same day, a whole bunch of stuff from Jet showed up. I got one of their 8x14 bandsaws, one of their big industrial sanding grinding stations with a 6x48 belt and a like 10 or 12 inch disc grinder, nice. Which is unbelievable. I mean, how fast you can sand down a block of wood. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, you can. I just like
expand your shop a little bit, Zach.
What? Oh yeah, well, right before I left, I spent like an entire week kind of triaging my shop, going through and making room for everything before it showed up. So yeah, the huge belt grinders, unbelievable though, how fast you can, I mean, you can, I think I had like a 2x4 and I could sand off an inch of that 2x4 in probably 10 seconds. It's just, it's crazy. So that, and then the high speed buffer, which like I've had a Harbor Freight buffer and I've put it out in my shed, like when I moved here because it sucks. This thing is, I don't know if you guys saw the picture of the hammer that I made and I posted it on my Instagram. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought to polish that thing. I got it pretty close on the belt grinder and just threw some whatever polish. I think I had just some aluminum polish on hand and I threw it on there and it's a mirror finish on that thing. So yeah, I am super excited to start, being able to use all of this stuff. So
cool.
I was thinking yesterday, as far as the space in my shop, once I get the hydraulic press, I should be able to make everything small enough so that I'll have room for everything. Just mash it down.
You have the tools for it.
Yeah. Yep. So that's, I'm sure I left some things out, but I feel like I've been talking long enough. So,
well, it's been 2 weeks for us, so we've got things to talk about.
Yeah.
But Shawn, what you got going on?
I just finished a Mantle Project. My wife went out of town, and we have been talking about redoing this fireplace in our house. And so even though I had the kids at home with me, I got it completed. So I just cut down a hickory slab and created a mantle for it and got it finished before she got home, and she loved it. So that was the goal. And then before that, I did a sliding barn door in the house. So we're just doing some projects in the house, trying to, do some things that we've been wanting to do for a while. And just, trying to knock some things out, some projects out. I'm fixing to start on a Adirondack rocker. Summertime's coming up. And so I'd like to build a couple of those. So that's my next project on the list.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll use power tools, so I should get done a lot quicker than.
Well, where's the fun in that?
A lot of fun. Power tools are a lot of fun, James.
Tell me about it. I've been using them this week.
Yeah, that's me. That's what I've got going on. Other than just trying to keep everything straight and organized. I went a little while without doing anything because I had my shop in just a mess, and I just rearranged everything, and so there were a lot of shop projects there for a little while. So I'm getting into some more furniture and stuff like that.
Seems like spring cleaning really is a thing. I mean, I know a lot of people that, and it's so nice though. Like I actually really enjoy knowing that I have an entire day or multiple days to just tidy things up and get rid of all those things that you thought you'd use. Like if I have like a piece of something that I've had sitting around for a year and I'm like, I'll use this someday, I think that's kind of the limit, like 1 year. And it actually feels really nice to throw some of that stuff that you've been holding on to away.
And then as soon as you throw it away, you need it.
Yeah, exactly. But but if you didn't throw it away, you wouldn't need it. So the question is what's more valuable, your shop space or something that you might use? I use shop space. I take advantage of shop space every time I'm in the shop, but pieces of.
Well, when you're building 6 feet by 3 feet projects, then you have to have a little bit of space in your shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Tell me about it. That's actually what I'm working on right now is the dining room table. And this thing is at the widest point, it's 50 inches wide by 11 foot long. And the top alone is 400 pounds.
Man, what are you building this out of?
2 slabs of oak that I got from Matt Cremona. So that's book matched slabs that are completely wild. Well, half of it is fairly straight grained, and the other half has these massive inclusions and bark swirl and large voids, and we'll be filling large voids with epoxy and doing some interesting things in there. And
so the slab was 11 feet long?
Yeah, well, originally they were 13 foot, but I cut them down to fit in the basement so I can work on them.
That design is super cool, by the way. I think I scrolled by a picture of that when I was at the airport the other day.
Oh, thanks.
Like the trestly, I mean, it looks architectural. It's very, very, very cool. It has like a bridge vibe or something going on, like an old railroad bridge. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, all told, the table will be a little over a quarter ton.
What?
Yeah,
that is amazing.
And when you start measuring things in,
speaking of which, you want to come over and help me carry this upstairs when it's done?
no.
but for Saturday's video, you'll actually get to see me use power tools on it. Because
Maybe you can build it.
Yeah, well, the big question for me is I could have done it with hand tools. Because I have to flatten both sides of both slabs, and my calculation was that if I did it with scrub plane and hand plane, it would have taken me 4 to 5 days of constant work of flattening.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you could have done it with like, a sharpened piece of obsidian too, but it's ridiculous.
I'm looking at the design on your Instagram, James. I like that design.
Yeah, and then it'll all be covered. The base will have Celtic weave carving up the verticals, and then the center of the top will have a larger in-cut Celtic weave that'll then be filled with epoxy.
So how are you attaching the top to the base?
Gravity.
That's it.
There'll be a couple pins on the base that stick up into the table, but it's 400 pounds.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So
the pins will keep it in place, but they'll have enough slop in it for wood movement, because I mean it is 50 inches wide, so there will be a good deal of movement across the table.
How thick were the slabs?
Originally 2.5 inches thick. Once I get them all flattened down, they'll be just shy of 2 inches.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Where's this thing going?
In my dining room.
They're going to stay
actually right above where it's being worked on right now.
Huh. Crazy.
So I got that, and I have a video coming out later today, which is Thursday, on the miter trimmer, which I've been having so much fun playing with.
Is that like that guillotine thing?
Yeah. So with a single movement, you can slice off a 2x4. It's imagine a shooting board where rather than taking off really wispy thin amounts on each pass, you could take off an 1/8 inch.
It's
shaving.
Pretty much like a wood guillotine.
Yeah. Lay it on its side.
It's funny. I'd never seen those things before. And then I saw one like 6 months ago, and now it seems like I've heard about them quite a bit recently.
But it's a seriously addictive tool. So I'm looking forward to showing that off, and I'm probably going to be building a few projects with it in the future.
That's crazy. And will that cut, like, what kind of, are you limited to like softwood, or can you do? Oh
no, I'm cutting hickory with it.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I stuck a block of hickory in yesterday. It was it was 1.25 inches by 3 inches, and shave off an 1/8 inch from that.
Have you done like I want to see an Instagram post of just you doing that. I think that would actually probably be a good post.
There'll be one later today.
I will stay tuned. I feel like you need to like draw a head on the waist side of it before you cut it off.
Yeah. Just don't get your fingers near it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm starting the next glue test here soon. I'll be doing 32 more glues. This time I'll have a bunch from overseas that people will be sending me of other brands, and then doing some construction adhesives. And then after that's done, I will take the few best and start a long-term study, like another 5 to 20 years.
Really?
So I'll have a lot of. I have another like 10 or so different tests that I want to do to different types of wood, different types of applications.
Have you made your own glue out of anything yet?
Oh yeah. Remember, you can make glue out of any body part.
I know. I'm just one. I think. Have you done a video on making your own glue?
Yeah, I have a video on making hide glue and a video on making casein glue. I might do a video on fish glue. But yeah, the hide glue, the homemade hide glue, actually did really well. I was very impressed with it.
Jim says that you need to, lop off body parts and send them to me to crush.
Yes. And make glue out of them.
Yeah. Oh man.
I do want to. Yeah, that's the other thing. I just ordered a bunch of shirts, and I'm also soon going to be offering card scrapers in my store. And I ordered a bunch of puzzles, 1,000-piece puzzles, and they're fairly expensive to special order, and so they're like $50 puzzles. And who wants to spend $50 on a puzzle? So I ordered a half dozen and put them up on my website, and they all sold within a couple hours.
Those are, I've never seen that before. Like, that is super cool.
So I'm going to get more of those in.
They're $50 each?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you can't find specialty puzzles unless you want to order like 1,000 of them for less than like $40 a piece, and then you throw in shipping, and it adds up pretty quickly.
I kind of like, I'd love to do one of my shop before I move. But it would be like the worst puzzle ever. Like, everything's just
a mess.
Like, it just wouldn't look nice. Like, there's just crap everywhere, and like, I wouldn't even know where stuff goes. I'm like, man, where do I keep my drills at? Like, here's this piece with the drill. Where does it go? Because I was thinking the other day, like, working in my shop. Do you remember that game called Memory, where like you'd have like the deck of cards and you flip one over and you try and find its match, and like eventually the idea is that you remember where things are and then you can make matches. That's what it feels like in my shop all the time. I'm like, man, where did I see that last? I saw it the other day. I feel like I just saw it, and I have to try and remember where I left it last. So
fun. Well, we have an interesting question that was sent in. And apparently we have several viewers or listeners who just watch on YouTube and aren't on any other social media platform. They're just on YouTube. And he was asking, do you guys have any podcasts that are aired on YouTube that you guys listen to? And I know Wood Talk has theirs live on YouTube. I don't usually listen to them on YouTube personally, but I was wondering if you guys had any answers to that.
I think I listen to the Make or Break podcast, and I think he has a lot of them on YouTube, or at least he used to. So there's one.
Yeah, I don't have mine on YouTube. I'm fixing to take mine to Twitch, and so I've taken a little break from mine to get that set up.
Why don't you plug yours while you're here?
Well, okay. So I mean, it's Stone and Sons audio show. It's just a solo deal. I've had my oldest son on the show with me before, just talking about what he likes in shop and that kind of thing. So I mean, we just basically talk about what I've been working on, and with what I want my podcast to turn into is for people to call in and actually have live conversations. And then with Twitch, I'm hoping to have a little more interaction there. So, but you can find it all on stoneandsons.net/audio.
Sweet.
Yeah, thanks.
I actually didn't know you had a podcast. I'll have to go check that out.
I just started it not long ago. I've only got 9 or 10 episodes. Then I took a break because like I said, I wanted to integrate Twitch with it, and I've been setting that up. So it'll be fired back up here shortly.
Cool.
So I wonder if we should kind of let Shawn tell everybody about who he is and what he does.
Okay. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Shawn Stone with stoneandsons.net at Stone and Sons Workshop. And I just woodwork in my shop. That's about it. No.
You have a pretty cool story though. Like that video about how you quit your job to become a woodworker is still pretty great.
Was a long process. I mean, I worked at a job for 19 years in the telecommunications world. And I thought that was where I was going to retire. Like I was just going to be this old, 60, 70-year-old grumpy guy that got
a cell phone clip on your belt.
Just drawing a retirement from somewhere. But when I fell into woodworking, and I just had a passion for it and wanted to be, closer to my kids and being able to do, what I wanted to with my time. So I started doing this on the side at night, into the morning hours, and it just turned into what it is today. So I quit that 19, 20-year job that I was at.
When was the jumping moment?
I don't know. There were several talks between me and my wife, and it just got to the point where I was just like coming home, I'm not happy with where I'm working. I'm just leaving the house every day, feeling a spot at work on my number, basically. I wanted a more fulfilling position or, purpose in my life. So the jumping moment was just, I had enough of it. And I was working at this long enough to where I thought I could just start making that full-time gig, my job.
Yeah.
It just got to the point where I was tired of not being happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
That's
Know the
the
feeling.
same. I think that's a very common theme.
Yeah. But it took me a while, there were so many times I would have jumped, but it took it to another level to where I was just absolutely miserable with what I was doing. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
I don't regret anything. To answer your question though, the main thing was regret. So did I have regret with what I was doing and the decision I was about to make? And I would have regretted staying where I was at. And so that's what
I strongly advise anybody here with a job that's not, if you're into making stuff, quit your job tomorrow. Don't even put in your 2 weeks because you're not going to want to work anywhere else again. Just go in and quit, or just call in. Don't even show up.
Dude, I gotta say, man, it was scary having a wife and 3 kids at home. Man, it was tough, but you just make it work. You make it work when you're put in the position.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's a certain type of person that makes things. I mean, it's a certain like archetype, like a personality that there's this commonality, there's this common thread between everybody that I've met that's involved in this community. And we're all very different, but there's, I've said it 100 times, I've gotten along with everybody. Anybody who makes stuff, I get along with always, unless they're not telling me otherwise. But, I think it's just a certain temperament. It's a certain personality type. And I feel like we belong, like we're happy working for ourselves, doing our own thing and exercising that creativity and that whole experience. It's just, I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that, that are happy with their job, but there's certainly not enough. And everybody that I've met, that it's terrifying. Everybody has that point to where everything is going well and they have it on paper and they go, wow, I have plenty of work and, I'm making decent money, but it's still so hard to take that leap and to let go of that steady paycheck that you've had your entire life. But yeah, I'm very, very glad I did it. And seems like another commonality is that everybody in this community has like the most understanding wives ever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It does take a support system to make it work.
Yes. Yeah.
And I will say that I hear a lot of people say, I don't have a choice or life's not fair. I tell my kids, and some people disagree with me, but when my kids say that's not fair, I said, life is fair. It's what you make of it. I mean, if you sit on your tail and not do anything about it, then that's what it's going to be. And I think that's the same way with your career, your job, or whatever you're doing. You have a choice with what you do.
Yeah. And the worst thing that happens is that, you have to get another job.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the risk and reward, if you're not happy, and I was miserable. I was not just unhappy. I was absolutely miserable. And
see, I was the opposite because I was happy with my job. It was my dream job, but I'm even more happy now.
You're an outlier, James.
I know
you're crazy. and nothing applies to you the way it does normal people.
Now, look, I have to touch on this because I get this question a lot, and I'm sure you guys do too. I get several emails and that kind of thing saying, how can I make a career out of woodworking? How do you sell? How do you do this? For me, I have to reply to those people saying, I don't make things to sell. My business is solely, an online business, and the things that I make are to create content out of, not to sell. And so I think a lot of people get confused about like what exactly do a lot of content creators do and how do they make their living. That's a whole nother episode, I'm sure, but I think that's a misconception a lot of people have.
Yeah. Oh, we have a question from the audience, from Shawn Foushee. Sorry, I am the name butcher. Hey, Shawn, have you created any projects with your kids recently? My daughter has recently got into working in the shop, and it's been great. It's been a great bonding experience.
Yeah, I've got a few out there. I do have some more planned for this year because I like to see my kids get involved. And the last couple of projects that I made, I got some emails with pictures of these guys and their kids, or gals and their kids making things, and it's just really cool to see that you know you're spreading that inspiration or whatever. But recently, the most recent thing, my oldest son, we started a YouTube channel for him. I think he's got maybe a couple of videos up and a few subscribers, but I'm kind of just letting him do his own thing, and not really it. Like, for instance, we made a really, really simple picture frame. I'm talking about 4 pieces of wood and butt jointed, and we stapled the picture to the back of that wood. I mean, just something that he can just say, I did that. But that's the most recent thing, is letting him kind of do his own thing, see what he can come up with.
I'll actually have a video coming out next week building, well, don't tell my wife, although she doesn't listen to this. I'll be making a Mother's Day gift with the kids. That's a great time to have the kids in the shop, make a birdhouse, a bird feeder, or something like that for the mom. Yeah. Such an easy project to throw together.
Yeah. Well, you ruined that surprise.
No, my wife watches about half of my YouTube videos, but she never listens to the podcast, so I can say a lot of things on here.
Oh, okay.
I probably just got myself in trouble, but oh well. Let's see.
James, your daughter has a YouTube channel, right? Or you?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Melody's Workbench. She has like 300 and some subscribers. She hasn't put a video out in a while, but
that's cool.
Yeah, no, she comes down and occasionally like, I want to build something, and she just throws something together and paints it, and happy. That's the thing I love about it, because they don't have to have anything. It doesn't have to be fine woodworking. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be, I made this. And like the last thing she built was a sign, and she got this half round scrap in the shop. It was about 18 inches wide in a half circle. And she drilled a hole in the bottom of it so she could put it on a post, and made a sign out of it, and then painted it with the street number for her grandma. And I just, if you look at it, the post is off centered and it's leaning slightly, and the handwriting on the painting is pretty crummy, but she absolutely loved it, and so grandma was over the roof with it.
Not any different than what you get from, like Hobby Lobby.
Yes, exactly.
I think they're probably actually made by, how old's your daughter?
7.
Yeah, that's probably about right.
Yeah. So get out in the shop, and once you get especially with kids young, they latch onto it, and it's something that lasts for the rest of their life. It did for me.
I mean, there's just it's so rewarding to actually physically accomplish something versus, doing it through a computer screen or leveling up your character or whatever people do these days. Level up your actual character that does things. Yeah. They need to make an app for that. You can just
I'm sure there's already one.
Yeah.
Oh no, Make Brooklyn says he's going to tell my wife, because my wife now mans all the live chats for me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, if you really want to have fun, anytime I do a live chat, my wife mans them, and so you can talk to my wife behind my back while I'm doing something at the bench. It's often very scary when she just suddenly starts laughing.
Somebody asked what your former job was.
My former job was building theater sets. And when I mean theater sets, I mean like multi-million-dollar sets, 4-story high, GPS guided mountains.
GPS guided mountains.
Yes. Like 4 stories wide, 60 foot long, rolling around on a 200. Actually, this is a 300-foot wide stage.
I can't even wrap my mind around those words being together.
What did he say?
Yeah. It was my dream job, so it was fun. But This is more
Oh
fun.
man, I can remember the first time I met James. All these stories and all these things that he's did. I'm like, this guy is a liar. He has not done half of these things. But he is such an interesting person. He's done like everything in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I nominate you for like the next Dos Equis guy. Because you've like done all of that stuff. Like you watch those commercials and he, you know, I think James has done, you've done most of that stuff. By the way, how's the marathon training coming? What are you up to now? Like 50, 100K?
Oh no, well, I'll be doing a 100K on January 7th.
Good.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That is just
if I can get the time for training, I want to do a 200 miler next year, but we'll see.
What's like the record? Like, are you gonna be famous for this soon?
Oh no, no. The longest continuous race is actually 3,100 miles. It's held every year in New York.
by Forrest Gump. Yeah.
Yeah, there actually is a guy who runs back and forth coast to coast. He's done it 5 times now.
You said 3,000 miles, right?
3,100 miles. It's called the Self-Transcendent Race.
What is that from like New York to Seattle?
No, it's in New York in the Bronx, I think.
It's just
no, it's in Queens, and
it's like one city block, but like
round and round and round.
Oh, are you kidding me? I was being totally sarcastic.
For 3 months.
That sounds terrible. Like, at least get some scenery in there or something.
Yeah. Well, we do have a joke of the week.
Okay.
The joke of the week comes from Matt Thayer. I've recently been searching for spoke shaves on eBay, but they are hard to find because they're all spoken for.
Oh boy.
I really enjoyed that.
That's terrible, which is exactly what we want.
So if any of you have a joke of the week you'd like to have up here, send it to us and we'll throw it. And if it's really bad, we might put it up a couple times.
I have one for you guys.
Okay.
What's that?
You want to hear it?
Sure.
Yes.
So why did the old lady fall in the well?
Why?
She didn't see that well.
What's brown and sticky?
A stick?
Yeah. That's still one of my favorites. Yeah,
well, let's get into what's inspiring us then and get out of this sticky mess. Shawn, what have you been watching recently?
You know, I used to watch a lot of Casey Neistat on YouTube and quit for a long time. But recently, he has this 368 series. And Casey's, if you guys don't know who Casey is, he's a really good videographer. I mean, he does daily vlogs. He's just really good at what he does. His edits are amazing. But he's building out this kind of like a YouTube studio, but it's a studio for, he's calling it, to help smaller YouTube channels, smaller creators, to where they can come in, you know, film or use a studio for a podcast to record, whatever. And it's just really cool to kind of see it. It was his company called Beam at one time, then he gutted it, and now he's doing this. And so I'm just kind of curious of how all this ends up and how it's going to look in the end. So it should be pretty cool.
Interesting project.
Yeah.
Well, for me this week, I'm going to give a shout out to Rainfall Projects, a smaller YouTube channel. But he did actually, I don't remember what his subscriber count is. I may be wrong. But he did he has this party barn. And, you know, imagine an old, like 100-year-old barn that's set up for, you know, renting out for parties. Well, he built this chandelier that is incredibly cool with these hanging Edison bulbs. But he wanted to be able to raise and lower it. So he welded together this massive, massive ratcheting wheel that is architecturally insane and cool. And he has a video on putting it all together. But definitely worth a watch, and a lot of inspiration in that video. It was a very pleasing video as well as a very cool project. So, yeah. What about you, Zach?
Well, I haven't been watching a whole lot. Just that I've been traveling so much, but I didn't even put the link in there. Let me find it really quick. There's this guy his channel name is Working with Iron Nathan, and he just has some really good, simple, like how-to forging videos. And yeah, it's very, very good for just kind of weaning information from. I'll put the link here in a second. yeah, so that's I watched a handful of those and found them helpful.
Sweetness.
Hmm.
Well, what's your favorite tool of the week, Zach?
So I actually don't even have it yet. I ordered it yesterday and I'm gonna have it tomorrow, but it's okay because I know what they are. I've had, since I started doing this, I've had pretty much just a random array of taps and dies. And I probably have like 10 or 11 different random tap and dies floating around, and I never have the one that I need. So I finally just splurged yesterday, and after doing some research, I ordered, where's the link? I have the link somewhere. Did I put it in the chat? I ordered a full tap and die set. So apparently the gear wrench one is actually really good. So, I mean, back in the day when I was a mechanic, I had a Snap-on set and it was like $350 or something. That's a little excessive for me. But I think this one, it was $215, 114 piece, pretty much from the smallest thing all the way up to, I think, 1/2 inch something. But I don't know. It's just going to be nice to have a full set so that, anytime I have messed up threads, I don't have to I don't have that like 2 minutes of anxiety wondering if I'm going to have the right tool to fix it, and then having to go to the store or Fastenal and get it. It's just going to be nice to have everything in a box. So, and I don't know if you guys are the same way, but like chasing gunked up threads on a nut or something is got to be like one of the most rewarding experiences. I don't know why it's like so satisfying. Like running a tap through something. It's just it's so nice to just clean up threads. It's fun. So yeah, I'm actually shouldn't be as excited about that as I am, but yeah.
Nice. What about you, Shawn?
So when I was building the barn door, I used a biscuit joiner, but I didn't have one, so I had to buy a new one, and so I bought a DeWalt, and it's kind of, I guess it's kind of satisfying as well, just to kind of see those plunge cuts and just make slots in the edge of these boards and put it all together like a puzzle. So yeah, I enjoyed using that. I used to have one a while back, and then I don't know what happened to it. So anyway, that's my new favorite tool.
Sweet. Biscuit joiner makes edge joining so much easier.
Yeah, I think I posted it a while ago, but I found something on Craigslist, and somebody that obviously was cleaning out an estate or something listed on Craigslist a Merida brisket jointer.
Wow.
I don't know if I have the picture somewhere.
Nice. Well, for me, I've got to say my favorite tool of the week is the Wood by Right puzzle, which is currently sold out. That was absolutely flabbergasting to me that people actually wanted that. And I was wanting to save one for myself to build, but apparently people wanted them, so I sold the one I was going to keep.
I mean,
more coming in soon. What's that?
How many did you have?
6 of them, I think. Yeah, 6.
Okay.
So they're all gone now, but I'll be getting more soon. So that's about it for this week. I do want to say a huge thank you to Shawn for hopping in here. And if you guys haven't seen his stuff, you've got to go check him out. Shawn and Stone and Sons shop. Wow, I'm having problems here.
Shawn and Sons workshop.
Shawn gets stoned workshop. What if you had to suggest everybody to check out one video of yours, what would it be?
I really love. Are you talking about me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I really loved the Osage Orange bench that I made. I really had a lot of fun with that, and it was just really cool, the turnout. So
okay,
go check it out.
Let's post the link of that.
Link
to that.
You can put it in the notes. I'll put it in there.
Okay.
Cool. Well, that's about it for this week. And I do want to say thank you to everyone for coming on, particularly those who are live. If you'd like to join us live at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Thursdays, We do like to grab some of the comments and chat from there. But if you do have any questions you'd like to have us answered, feel free to post them here on the YouTube channel or send them to one of us via email, and we'll see if we can answer those.
Also, photo challenge. We actually thought that. So it's been like 3 weeks of weird scheduling for us in the podcast because everybody's out of town. So we improperly assumed that Mr. William Walker was going to be available today, and he wasn't. So we're going to postpone the photo challenge until next week. So you have 1 more week to get your pictures in, and we'll send the winner something cool.
Yeah, so if you want to enter that, it is hashtag Creators Photo Challenge on Instagram. And this week it is leading lines. Take a picture with leading lines. And if you want to see a couple ideas of that, just look up the hashtag Creators Photo Challenge, and there's a couple of them up already. And in the past, we've given away shirts and other swag, and I've sent out chisels. And I think next time around it is Zack's turn.
It's me. I'm going to have to send another shirt. So also, if Rick, the very first winner, is wondering where his shirt is at, I got those gray shirts in, and they all sold out within like a day. So I'll get at him. I have some black ones I can send him, but I think I have another batch of gray shirts coming in this week. And FYI, if anybody else wants a gray shirt, I have them for sale on my website. So ZH10 will get you 10% off. So you can have a high quality shirt delivered to you for $18. Wow. I make no money on those shirts at $18. It's literally a break even. I think I might make like 78 cents or something. But yeah, so if anybody wants a shirt, you can get them on my website, ZH10, 10% off.
Sweetness. So that's about it. Until next time, have a wonderful day. See ya.
Yes.
Later.
Later.